hard. There's so much going into this in terms of the expectations on our shoulders, but also we know what this can mean. It's almost a gift.
Yeah.
So let's see if they can bring it home. But on the other hand, I don't know, man. It would be poetic if it's MKOI, also from a, let's not forget, struggling position if they get to 2-0 on the weekend in their own home.
Okay. Regardless of who wins, you have a fantastic story on your hands as we head into draft here.
Last draft of Madrid.
Oh. Enjoy it.
Let's make it a banger.
Yo, so we've been seeing some Jax bans coming out here. What is it they're looking for with Gren out of the table when they're already banning Jax on the first 3?
It could be an idea of just the Yone pick. Like the Jax isn't paired up into the Yone, but it works really well into the Yone Sejuani. You see that getting taken away. It could also be a potential top lane blind pick. Sometimes you use your first 3 bans to set up a 4-5 pick, so you have more bans for the 4-5. That could be an angle, or they could even first pick something here. A Silas ban as well is very interesting.
This is one of those scenarios where they're definitely thinking about specific champions with the champions they've banned as well. Ambessa gets first pick for Myrwn.
Wow. So that's what that Jax ban was for, setting up that Ambessa pick. Curious what the Silas ban was for. Making me think that they really want to have something like a great ulti on mid lane that is a bad matchup into Silas, maybe?
So, above the champions we talked about, we still have Ezreal, there's Poppy, there's Sejuani. You don't have to go Poppy immediately just because you see the Ambessa, but I really do think that Ezreal is one of the best AD carries available right now.
Yeah, I'd love to see an Ezreal lock in here for Noah. I think it's also just one of his better champs. And the Viktor...
Did you see that?
What?
I think Lot was looking at Myrwn and he was like doing the finger across neck. You know, I think so. I think I saw that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, they could lock in the Sejuani to take it away from the Ambessa, but then they are giving up the Ezreal. I'd be very surprised there if Supa doesn't go for it. He didn't have the best Ezreal game yesterday, but it's still also just one of his favorites.
Yeah, it's one of his boys. You look like him, apparently.
I get that a lot.
Who said that? Who said that a lot? Anyways.
Zhao makes a lot of sense. We've seen that a lot of times into the Sejuani. You can block the ultimate, just hold yourself. But what do we pair up with it?
Ooh, Neeko flex.
Listen, can I cast your mind back to yesterday? I think it's going to Alvaro.
Yeah, for sure.
Just because we called it out. I feel like a Neeko currently is so important. Is very difficult, but if you play it right, you can have the biggest payoff and momentum. But it is a difficult champ to play. You need to get the angles off. It needs to work in your favor. And you're flabbergasted.
Yeah, I'm confused. Why are we banning Ezreal on red side ourselves? I feel like it was such a good 4th pick. Jack, help me.
I am very surprised here. I think the idea is to take away some of those poking ADCs with the Neeko support. But I mean, GIANTX must have a specific ADC in mind here, and they did hover hyper carry. It might just be that Noah wants to play something like the Jinx or the Zeri and just try to scale and carry that way, as Ezreal can be really good into those type of lanes to bully them early game. But I really wanted to see the Ezreal on 4, like you said.
Am I trolling? It's not going mid, is it?
No, it's a very hard matchup into Viktor,
right?
and I got flamed yesterday by Viktor because I said it could be mid, yeah. He says like, it can't go mid.
Listen, you never know. Teams make stupid decisions.
That's not
sometimes
Jojo, maybe was
people
Neeko
who are part
player,
of teams should know that.
Imagine it goes mid now. That would be crazy.
No, but like, I don't know. I think it's one of the reasons why they did so well versus Fnatic yesterday as well. I'm loving this Neeko pick for Alvaro. Oh, Mr. Useful.
I mean, you do have the DPS from the Viktor already, and enemy team is not building any sort of tank composition at all. I'm not sure about the Ashe. I think I prefer Jhin a lot more.
Hovers, it's Zeri.
Zeri, this is very scaling. This is like last game of the tournament. We are scaling front to back, baby.
Do you like it or not?
I don't.
Also, do you feel like they have enough engage right now on GX? Because all the engage supports are out, right? Isma's and Renekton, well, Sejuani and Renekton is currently the only thing. Is it enough?
If Supa picks this, he has massive balls. I mean, this is an incredibly hard lane to pull off.
We're in Spain, cojones.
Massive cojones.
Okay, anyways, it's locked in.
He tried, okay, wow. So it's gonna be the Caitlyn Neeko bot lane, and their goal is to hard punish this Zeri, get her behind early game, and just make her life miserable.
Oof. I love it.
Still puzzle about that mid lane pick here into the Viktor.
Yeah, you really want something that can fight and skirmish well, but the Silas is out. I'm not sure what he has, what Jojo has left.
Oh!
It
Take it off page out of the humanoid.
Humanoid drove it home. Maybe Jojo's like, I can do you one better.
But now you have some scaling for the side of MKOI.
Oh, is that locked in? The Blitzcrank? Yes.
I think it is. It's an insta-lock Blitzcrank here.
Oh my days.
0.0%. It's so confidence-inspiring.
I feel like the level 1 is so rough. Even if you get the hook, you still kind of lose. When does it start winning with a Zeri?
You really need level 3, but probably level 6 to be honest, because that's when Zeri gets that ultimate and can start to actually be a menace. But the biggest thing that comes when you're locking in this Blitzcrank is setting up for jungle attention. A lot of the pressure that comes from Blitz is not from his inherent kill power, it's not that high, but he can set up ganks so incredibly well. And so I want to see, can Isma play around bot lane, help No out?
And that's a big point, Jack, because they have spent so many weeks now getting Isma integrated into this team. This is almost at the last hurdle that they need to make it work. That integration needs to be there.
This is their final exam for now. This is holding the hope for those playoffs in the LEC, in the fire of Madrid. But Movistar KOI is on the other side. They say, we set up this entire event. You think we're not going to win both of our matches and not win our match versus our Spanish rival in GIANTX? Who knows? Let's head over for one last time to our tremendous casters who have been doing a kick-ass job. Please, Drakos, Dagda, bring us home.
Oh my God, it's an honor to pick up from... Look, I didn't think a lot of people expected that we would be here, but how perfectly fitting it is that for our entirely made-up title of the King of Spain, we got our two Spanish representatives, both winning their series yesterday. Today, taking it to game 3. Everything on the line now. Betting on a Blitzcrank and a Zeri.
Yeah. This, I mean, I looked at this and I was kind of in GB's boat where I was like, I don't know if I believe in the Blitzcrank. Like, Caitlyn immediately just nets away. It's really hard to get her. And then post level 6, you're hooking Alvaro into ult. Like, he just gets to do the thing he wants to do.
I agree, but at the same time, I turn the nameplates on and I see Jun, and I remember the high highs. Now, I've seen the low lows, but I remember a man who, on Renata, single-handedly embarrassed half of our region last year in winter. I remember a man who took Fnatic the high highs. I don't remember his Blitzcrank particularly well. It was mostly the Renata.
I was going to say, there's like a very key part of that sentence that has been missing.
But I believe that a robot with 2 cats inside of it can take down Caitlyn and also fake Caitlyn. And this is going to be insanely obnoxious. Neeko level 1 with double Caitlyn's.
So to be fair, the last time we played it was Spring Playoffs 2024.
Yep.
Win against BDS went 0-0-12.
That's a good score.
He can't really hope for much more, especially when he's got the hooks already.
Caitlyn, Ignite already happening. Walking in, punching him. And the Q misses. Oh, that sucks. Supa missing that build over Peacemaker is big. They already got the Ignite, but again, the goal here, if you just burn the sums, the setup, flash, the knockup, could be easy. This is going to be a tough lane regardless.
It also makes you way more vulnerable underneath the tower. Like, if you... So usually you want to wait for level 2 as Blitz to try and try out your stuff, because then you get the punch up, but you're never winning level 2 in this matchup. So getting that early trade means that as you approach tower here, Jun can play way more aggressive on the wave and try and fish with these hooks like that.
Grab. Whoa. Walking out, doesn't want to take tower angle. Good discipline from Alvaro.
Yeah, has the heal as well, so knew that he was going to be safe. But those are the kind of things that you want to look for, and it makes it way more difficult for Supa and Alvaro to punish No underneath the tower when you can't really control, or you have to push ahead of the creeps, and you can always get hooked.
Jojopyun trying to clear that wave out. Zoned away by the gravity field so fantastically. Q flash from Isma. Not going to connect.
Still though, I mean, Alvaro taking a bit of punishing in the bottom side. Jojo now down a flash. Already GIANTX coming into this game strong, and again, that's exactly what they needed. This is such a crucial game that could decide their split. Having this at least decent early start is exactly what you need.
It definitely is, and for GX, this is a situation where we did not expect them to be, right? They were the odd man out coming into this weekend. 1-4. A team that's greatest achievement was seemingly cursing themselves at a Gyotto interview. Now, taking down top-level opponents, bringing MKOI to a 3rd game. Need to see how far they can go, and right now things aren't off to a bad start. Right, Noah and Jun doing a decent job in the lane phase, and for Jojopyun already losing that flash to Isma is rough, right? Aurelion Sol, a champion that stuns himself to breathe fire here, making it that much easier for Jackies to try to set up a play.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, there's no place like home, and that's exactly what's happened for GIANTX. Moving back, coming to Spain, has really invigorated this team. And even for like guys like Isma, who have been taking a brunt of, I will say, well, at least a good chunk of the criticism, the fact that he has really stepped up. Like, Isma played for Movistar, or underneath, Mad Lions underneath their banner in Spain. So even for him, this is going to be going back towards a crowd that is very favorable to him, and he's been performing well. But
100%.
Now, going to have to go up against Isma, who definitely a much more crowd favorite, I will say. But still, it feels like GIANTX kind of fitting into what has been a very nice home crowd for them.
Definitely has. Some players crumble under the pressure of that stage, and some players come alive. And GX seem to be a team full of the kind of players that thrive in that kind of environment, that kind of attention, that kind of pressure. For now, though, look, we heard it on the desk. It's scaling, scaling, scaling. There will be some quiet time. There will be some downtime. And it gives us a chance to talk about a little bit of what you were mentioning before, right? We look at GX upcoming matches, BDS, Heretics. Now, coming to this weekend, I thought it was going to be, okay, you're going to get stomped. We're going to next week, and that's when hope starts to bloom anew. But just as you hear that man playing trumpet, the perfect representation of what happened this weekend. I didn't think we'd get it, but here we are. That trumpet slaps, and so did GX.
But it's really putting them into contention. The desk highlighted it well. Like, so many of our teams are sitting on that 3-win, like G2, Movistar KOI, BDS, Heretics, SK at 2 and 3, Vitality at 2 and 3. GIANTX sitting at 2 and 4. If they can push themselves up to 3 and 4, gives them a much better scenario to try and fight for those top spots. And especially when you have teams to face that are still threatening for those spots, like Heretics, if you can start to hand them a couple of losses as well, it can mean so much for you getting and eking into that top 6. So it's not out of the wood yet, but if GIANTX can just pick up a win here, it could be so crucial to them.
Yeah, to have that momentum going into teams that are effectively tied with you in terms of score. I believe both Team Heretics and BDS are 3 and 3. GX would be 3-4, so they'll have played one more series. You highlighted it well, right? Those matchups are the ones that matter most. Those are the ones that will decide not only if you can make playoffs, but your placement within the top 6. MKOI, though, they're also at 3-3. Feels like a sure thing for playoffs, but maybe that's a bit more contentious now that there's a Blitzcrank flying face person to Jojopyun. He, however, is going to drop a star on their head and casually fly away.
I was ready to flame Jojo, and that worked out 10 times better than I expected. The ultimate managed to keep him alive. He got all of the wave as well, and now he's able to go for the reset. So a little unfortunate you have to burn the ult, but when it was Jun who was aggressively going in that wave, or that lane, holding on is perfect.
Yeah, and keeping the pressure up on the bottom side as well, allowing Supa to slowly amass a gold lead over Noah, who's now matched up against Myrwn. And we'll have to be careful about the potential all-in from Myrwn. Lot really cannot step forward here. Has the ulti, might be forced to burn it soon, but it's just losing plates left and right. This is kind of the dream scenario for the Caitlyn, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. Supa's in a phenomenal spot, but I don't feel like this ever gets better for Lost. Because even if you end up in the matchup against Myrwn, I think Myrwn's going to have bypassed the area where Lot can bully him as effectively, right? So the fact that you have MKOI swapping here helps out Myrwn getting into a better spot, and then helps out Supa. Plus, as you get later in the game, Lot is going to struggle to get into fights. You've got like Jojopyun and Supa who are going to play from a mile away. He's not really going to be able to jump onto the back line because he has to go through Myrwn, through Elyoya, through Alvaro as well. So he's effectively just a follow-up boss for whatever Isma is doing. And if that just lands on the front line, there's little that Lot can do. So I think this is where the fact that Lot is already being put behind is just going to make this 10 times worse for him as it gets to the later portion of the game.
Yeah, really tough to, you know, move your way gracefully through lane in that kind of scenario, but at least has a 200 individual gold lead over Myrwn. For now, will get harder as Myrwn gets more levels under his belt, and the whistle continues. I hear it in my dreams and my nightmares, Rob. Sometimes I'm not even sure.
Sometimes the trumpet comes to save you.
Sometimes the trumpet saves me.
Yeah. You're downed in shining armor.
The devil and an angel on my shoulder in the form of a trumpet, the devil in the form of a whistle. Weird purgatory is this.
GIANTX looking to play on bot side. Myrwn isolated.
Jun, X flash forward. I think he's going to clear the wave. Will now ulti for the fall. Just goes face first into Jackie's. Ulti is traded, but Jojo might be the one in trouble. A little bit slow here. It's just two epic mages trading extremely large circles.
Yeah, it's not going to be the end of the world. Both of them, as you say, perfectly happy. I think the focus for me is always eyes on Joe. Jun is going to be the guy that has to move around the map and make these plays happen. Isma now at level 6 can kind of facilitate those to a certain extent, but when he's just completely pushed out of the wave, there's nothing you can really do.
I agree, and at the same time, MKOI are doing, they're just rinsing and repeating. They've found their formula to victory, and it is double Caitlyn's, one Neeko with extra range, and one actual Caitlyn, following Lot wherever he goes and taking plates out from underneath him.
Yeah, and you can already see that starting to accrue in the gold, right? 10 CS lead already, plus the plate leads. Now that it looks like they're going to swap back as well. You are going for the collector build, which I think is slightly worse in this position. I think you could have just gone for a full grip build, but it does depend on when you reset if you get enough gold for the BF sword. But even in this sort of situation, I think you could have just held off because you are just rotating away from Noah and Jun in a lot of these situations. But yeah, we'll have to see if it actually comes back to be a major factor. It's just, it means that Isma will get a lot of value from being tanky. Loss going towards what I imagine will be some early play steel caps will also benefit too, but we'll have to see. Maybe he just wants to work threads for the Alvaro and Jojopyun CC.
Would make sense. A couple of decent options. But for now, I will say that GX, 300 gold deficit against a Caitlyn, not the end of the world, right? Zeri, a champion that we consider to scale very well. Champion doesn't always have that time. It definitely scales even better if it means Supa getting caught out. 90 caliber net and the Ghost. He says Supa will escape. Flash, Ghost burned, but a nice look from the side of GX.
Unfortunately, Jun didn't get down there. I'm not sure if he spotted MKOI in the river and was like, oh, I need to cover Jackie's on the middle wave, so there's less play there, but didn't immediately shift down. And also Noah burnt the ultimate but didn't connect with it, I think, or maybe wasn't able to get the speed up that he needed when the net connected at least, but wasn't able to follow. So at least they pushed him away, but would have loved to get the kill on Supa and give some of that needed gold in towards Noah's bank account.
Certainly would. Noah, of course, did get a little bit of time alone in this bot wave as Alvaro's going in to try to solo kill Noah. Cleanse from Noah still locked up. Ace in the hole, decent damage down. Now chasing, blooming blows. Won't connect.
Alvaro burns the heal to make sure the play happens. It's Noah is completely gone, so I think that bot lane tower gone. GIANTX going to be able to get 6 void groups for themselves in return, but approaching towers has not been their strong suit so far this game, and I think that trend is going to continue unless they can dive Myrwn here. Nobody in the area, no TP for Jojopyun on reset to move into the top lane.
And Myrwn should be dead here. Where's the angle? Maybe just wants to clear the wave. Q1 tries to find Q2, flashes out. Good movement to hold on. We'll lose a plate here. Packed up by the power of 6 grubs from GX.
It's kind of trade on the map though. You can see where Movistar KOI are. Dragon going to be taken, and the push on bot side. They will look to take that tower in the next push through as well. Noah trying to move down. Elyoya, I think, going to gate him from being able to move into this bottom lane. But there you go. Wave going to die. Lot not going to be able to save the turret. And it's that first turret going over to Movistar KOI.
And this, I think, is such a good deal for KOI. With the Caitlyn, you can argue that them having more grubs early would have been good. But even without grubs, they're knocking down these towers. Top lane probably next in their sight. They're getting Drakes, which means that a lot of GX's strengths, which you could argue with the Viktor and the Zeri, outscaling late would be where they're strongest. Mitigated when the enemy team could potentially have a Mountain Soul.
Yeah, that's a little scary, I will say. Yeah, I can see.
It's not a cloud. It's not a hex tech. One of the worst ones, but
no, Mountain is terrifying. Again, the fact that you can get a lot of resistances on towards Myrwn is always going to work out great. As Jojo trying to get away.
Ulti, Isma. Ooh, good patience on the flash from Jojo. Instantly flashes the second he sees the ulti animation. They do get that flash at the very least, so Jojopyun will need to play with a little bit more caution. Nice little trap set up by GX. Weren't able to grab a kill, but happy to have the sum advantage.
Yeah, Jojo's still kind of fine though. Like, he has been targeted to a certain extent by GIANTX, but he's managing to escape several times. Still managing to farm up successfully, so not too much to write home about when it comes to shutting him down. But for GIANTX, I think it's going to be, as you say, looking towards 3 minutes on towards the next dragon. Try and look for your fight then. You'll have at least first items completed at that stage, or maybe not fight, but try and look for a pick in MKOI setting up, because there isn't really someone on Movistar KOI that is good at face checking. So if you can just sit in a bush with Isma, you're in a much better spot. Now obviously the clone can do some of the work, but if you can actually catch someone as they go to face check that, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah. And MKOI continue to have pressure in their favor. But Rob, I hear the whistle again.
Don't let it win. Don't let it win, Drakos.
Calls for blood, Rob. It needs more blood. There hasn't been enough. 0-0. The whistle is desperate for action. The whistle doesn't want to scale.
For the lords of the end time.
Check it, it's written in the runes of Norse mythology, the whistle, the sound, the call for Ragnarok.
I was going to say the whistle of Ragnarok.
Jormungandr, World Serpent or whatever calls it.
I heard that's what Kratos has in God of War.
It's just a whistle. On a string, little metal whistle. Yeah, anyway, it's
I was going to say, like, if referees can get an air of importance around them as soon as they put the whistle on, I'm sure Kratos can do the same thing.
That's all we need. Kratos with a whistle and a red card, bro. Shutting the world down. So yeah, again, slow game, but a scaling game, to be certain. Right now, MKOI steadily accruing a decent gold lead. I think mostly due to the bot lane that they have put together, which is the Caitlyn, as well as the Neeko, giving them that extra push, that extra threat. Not quite as explosive as some of the games where we see Caitlyn, where you just really snowball out of control. GX have done well to keep it in range, but can they continue to weather the storm is the question. Jackie's doing well in the side lane. Jojo, of course, with his own little stacking mechanic. We will keep an eye on the Aurelion Sol stack. So you can see him on the picture of the dragon on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think it's just it's difficult for GIANTX to try and make any plays, because look at where Movistar KOI are on the map. Every time it's, okay, we want to have Jojo access a wave. He's just getting escorted by Elyoya, and then he's got the motorcade in behind him with Alvaro as well, just in case anything starts to go wrong. So it's very difficult for GIANTX to find positions in. You can see even using the clone there just as a secondary ward. And with Jun in position, there's just nothing that GIANTX can really achieve. So it just becomes these bouncing waves continuously. Which at the moment, for the beginning, definitely favor Movistar KOI. But we're now starting to slow down the pace of a game where Supa has a 500 gold lead, but not really incredibly strong as a Caitlyn. And you're starting to get these kind of as you start to get towards 2 items as Noah, he will be a real threat in these fights. So I'm curious how Movistar KOI want to try and push this game forward. 45 seconds until Dragon, but with Rift Herald up and available, it looks like this is going to be the initial point of contention.
TP into mid. Looking to get some control over Rift Herald, excuse me. GX have already started it. Supa doesn't seem to have any traps in the inventory, has not dropped any quite yet. He has 3 ready to go, 4. So taking his time before he sets up that trap line, but it's a bit of a split exchange. Single hook from Jun could be disastrous, so now the hook is down. That's the cue to kick things off. Elyoya not going to connect on the win, becomes lightning. Lot off on the side, but will slice to the Herald and dice through the wall. KOI now starting the objective. Now, finally, Supa sets up his trap line. Good patience there. Eyes on Jun. Eyes on the hook from the Blitzcrank. Once again, does not connect, and now the stars descend. Initially, Elyoya getting locked up for a brief moment is in. Now it's instantly Myrwn into the back line, but he just gets deleted in the blink of an eye. They turn right back with the power of the Viktor ultimate. The traps do not matter, but it's Herald to the side of MKOI.
But now GIANTX have moved down towards Dragon, which is also there. They have mid-control reset coming through from Jackie's, but he's going to be able to teleport back in. So I think even with Rift Herald going down, GIANTX should be able to get this objective.
Taking the time again, we look back. Even though the initial hook from Jun doesn't connect, you can see neither does most of the spells from Jojo.
Yeah, but the interrupt by Isma onto Elyoya, jumping onto the backline, prevents the follow-up. And as Myrwn goes in, it's 4 members of GIANTX who are there. The Ruthless Predator immediately shreds the shield that he has on his W, so there's just no hope for Myrwn in preventing that, so he ends up falling. But GIANTX, now on Dragon, haven't done it quite quick, but should be able to get it still.
It's spotted out, but Elyoya does not want to risk the 50-50. Not worth to give his life. As Jun shadows in the darkness, ready to throw that hook out. Alvaro taking his time, anticipating Jun there.
But yeah, you can kind of see, like, it is difficult for Jun if he's not able to land these hooks to make things happen. So, unfortunately, in that position, end up missing 2 of the hooks that could have gotten them a pick or started something off for them in their favor. So, Movistar KOI, now with Rift Herald, I imagine going to try and shove mid and use the fact that you've got this Caitlyn. They need people to respond to topside, and I've seen both Lost and Jackie move into this top half of the map, which I'm a little surprised at.
A lot of focus on the top side, as you highlighted. Especially as it looks like Audicon is spawning in the bottom side of the map. But maybe just feel like they can't play for this tier 1. It is super low at this stage of the game.
Yeah, I think they were looking at Myrwn having his teleport up and saying, okay, maybe it's actually going to be a play for the top tier 1 and hoping that they could move Lot into position to cover. But now that Myrwn has pushed out that bottom side, they need Lot to rotate back down to catch that. Still, though, there's not really interactions between either AD carry and the mid wave. It's kind of Supa pushes the wave, Noah accepts a little bit later, and it's causing Jun to hard focus on mid wave rather than being able to link up with Isma to play for anything.
Yeah. And I think this is purely good, again, for GX. We know what a terror Zeri can be, and even if she's been hit and changed and adjusted over so many patches, you know, 4 or 5 items, this is a champion who can single-handedly win the game, offers so much damage. Caitlyn, usually that lane bully, sometimes struggles to transition those early leads, as we see here from MKOI, couldn't keep their foot on the gas. Jun remains a threat with that hook. Just fishing in the darkness, however, will not find anything. Not poking, Noah off to the side. Just a Heartsteel stack for Isma, and they start to retreat. That's the ulti now committed as well.
But everyone backs away. Again, like, GIANTX are trying to poke and prod and see if they can get anything, but they just haven't been able to really set themselves up. Jun's still fishing for the hook. Can he spot the real Alvaro, though, is the question.
Otacon thirsts for destruction, for those of you who are curious. So, false life buff on the table. Wait, no, this is...
I didn't even catch, sorry, that Alvaro stole Mountain Dragon. I was like, why is there 3 dragons? He stole it with his Q. I just had to go back and check.
We're good casters. All right,
look, it is a long
game 6.
day. It has been, what, 9 o'clock now?
Yes.
We've been here for 8 hours? 8 hours, yes.
We are casting from a room filled only by the sounds through these headsets. So bear with us. Apologies.
Yeah.
That explains why the crowd was so hyped around the time the dragon was taken. I was so confused. I was like, what did we miss? Did Grabs run back on stage and start singing again?
Yeah. I think, look, somebody was blowing a whistle. We all got distracted. It was a sad time.
Am I being Pavloved? Am I being psychologically conditioned by the person with the whistle to forget? Are we in an episode of Severance? Anyway.
Your Audi would have caught that dragon.
My Audi would have caught that dragon, bro. And he's a loser. Look, lot 2 items, Black Cleaver, Spear, Shojin. Like to see it in us under the sky, but I like this. I like the... And the one big thing about Renekton that I love is over the years, people have talked less and less about his scaling being worse, but one thing that was good even when scaling wasn't great was if you have a hyper carry and you sit on top of that hyper carry with your W available, they're not going to die.
Yep.
That's just that simple. Point and click CC next to a Zeri. Great. Shield shredding. Great.
The problem is, though, I think if Jojo and Supa play these fights well, you never really need Myrwn and Elyoya to engage in towards lock, right?
Sure.
I think you can just play for non-committal fishing with Alvaro, see if you can lock people up. Like, even here, right? Like, they're not over-committing into GIANTX because that's where it starts to fall apart. Obviously, though, Isma, great engage. Jun can fish for hook. So trying to make those plays happen, it will be tough. And with Dragon now in 30 seconds, 2 items completed for a lot of Movistar KOI, I think they can just look to brute force this and get that Mountain Soul. But they need to start getting some poke and keeping GIANTX honest as they look towards mid lane turrets.
And you can see GX are a little bit frazzled. They don't really have the members around mid that they need to stop this tower from going down. They aren't ready to force the fight. Elyoya continues to fish. Clone there to body block if a hook does come out, although Jun now on the chase once again will not connect. Any of these hooks could be a game changer. TP behind. Isma going to find the ulti, but on the edge of it. Onto Supa as the ghost is there. Focus from MKOI back to the mid lane, getting mid prio, knowing they can force GX to respond, using the clone from Alvaro to keep vision, keep tabs on the enemy. Jun over the wall with the hook. Oh. Barely not able to connect. Empowered ulti. There from Jojo.
Still though, Trap's going to keep them at least in a position where they're going to have to scoot their way past it, but Myrwn protecting one side of it, and now you got to take the long way around, which kind of puts everyone in front of MKOI again, which is perfect for how they want to try and set up. GIANTX though don't want to give this soul over.
It's rough with where Otacon is to the choke can be devastating for GX. Same is true for MKOI though, if they overcommit. Lot, bit of poke down onto him. GX running forward, past the objective. Ulti down from Jojo, connecting onto 2 instantly. Elyoya and Myrwn, and the blink of an eye, they delete the backline, the follow-up is there. It's beautifully orchestrated, a symphony of destruction as Madrid comes alive.
It is a crescendo for what has been a fantastic series, but it's Movistar KOI who are looking to come out on top. The Dragon Soul, the Arakan as well. Movistar KOI play it patient and it pays off.
Just incredibly timed collapse. The perfect combo here. Finally, the ulti connecting from Jojo, and everyone follows.
But this is what we're talking about. It's so difficult for Lot to get into these fights. And as you say, Jojo lands it down on both Noah and Jackie's Myrwn with this great flank the whole way around the back of the Dragon Pit, in position to get on towards Noah. Deletes him immediately. Jackie only survives because he barely flashes over the wall. And you can see the thrill from the Movistar KOI fans.
And one of the big things about this Aurelion Sol is it's just so easy for him to throw down that E. It's only getting bigger as Jojo gets more and more time to stack, and it's so hard for GX to approach. And for this point of the game, it's still MKOI who are getting pushed first, who are setting up on the objective first. And now it's Sol and Arakan.
And control. Most crucially, like you can see GIANTX, they're still trying to fish for these hooks, but the targets for this Blitzcrank just aren't there. And as Caitlyn continues to control this mid push, almost like a Varus Drakos, continue to push. And look, you can just shimmy down to this bottom side. Push already there for Jojopyun. Like, there's nobody there in GIANTX. They're trying to fish for a pick in the top half. And that's not where MKOI are.
And we've, I think, just about crossed the Blitzcrank threshold, where
you would have preferred a Thresh?
No.
Okay.
There's no. I would never prefer that champion. He's useless.
How dare you?
He's so useless. I'm so sorry. Like, what a win more snowball. Like, just play Pike. Just okay. Anyway, side tangent. Main thing is you're now hitting the point where there are now wrong targets to hook.
Yes.
Now a hook can be deadly. Earlier stages of the game, it's easy to say like whoever you hook is probably a decent target, but if you hook Jun without people ready to do damage, or excuse me, Alvaro without people ready to do damage, it's bad. Elyoya, Myrwn can be similarly disastrous.
I think Elyoya you could hook and win, but Jun is dead.
Finally found a hook. Flashes over the wall. Knockup is there, barely connecting onto Isma, but Jojopyun might get one shot. Still, it's only the false light. Quick flash out from Noah to make it to safety.
But just couldn't quite get the kill on towards Jojo. But as you say, it's the false life. So even if you manage to get that, it's so much burn from GIANTX in the hopes of just pushing MKOI off the map for a little bit of time. Myrwn, though, back in this top side. I think GIANTX want to collapse.
How much more time does he have on the buff? TP in as well. I think he just wants to die fast. Sticking around too long, depending on how much time he has left on the buff, this could be disastrous. Will be unstoppable, goes back in, is just sliding, gliding, dancing, and ultimately withdrawing. So 200 gold over the side of GX. If they'd gotten a real kill there, it might have given them access to Baron, but because it's only the false life buff, it won't amount to too much.
Jackie's even going to reset off of it. They don't want to try and contest too much further. And as you say, it's a brief moment of respite, but not enough to deter MKOI at all. They're already pushing mid, they're already pushing top, now getting vision again in this topside jungle, and it's a little shallow at the moment, but they still have to clear out all the vision that GIANTX did leave in the river, and it just becomes this slow, drawn-out game as you just wait for this next round essentially to come through. And now you're down a flash on Noah, you down a flash on Jun, whereas Movistar KOI significantly more threatening as all those summoners are starting to come back.
Why does Jojo always have elixirs? He has an elixir of sorcery running right now. Does he know something we don't know? Or does he just really like matcha lattes?
I think it's a matcha latte dip. I think he likes it with the like strawberry mixing.
Must be pretty good on Asol. I can see how the ticks and the true damage would be really good on Asol, but this man really likes to have 500 gold extra of combat power.
To be fair, I think in this position, the next fight is going to decide it.
That's
like
true.
Oh,
whipping another hook, a little bit awkward there. Has not been able to find these. Isma kicking things off. Jojopyun locked up, but again, there's no follow-up. GX, some of the coordination that was so good for them in the previous game, so good for them on day one, is starting to falter now that the pressure is on.
And now they have to play into the dark. Movistar KOI falling back. Jojo has that ultimate still available. These choke points are not your friends, GIANTX. As Movistar KOI, they're still on the Baron, but you have no idea. There goes the vision just to spot it out for a moment.
whistle coming back. Heralding the end, Rob. MKOI on the cusp of being the kings of Spain. Jun taking out the blink of an eye. The reset down there for Jojopyun. 1 more second and he can start to pursue Noah if he so chooses, but it's Myrwn in the backside. In the meantime, Jojopyun going over the wall, ready to make the skies descend. The skies falling face first into Noah. And now the follow through from Alvaro. A thing of beauty again from the side of MKOI. Isma running fire, breathe straight from the mouth of Jojopyun. Elyoya finds himself stunned up, but there's just nothing for GX. There's no angle. There's no return attack.
GIANTX will be the sacrifice to Odin on this night. As MKOI continue to push in, Myrwn on the top side. And now the push for Jojo and bot. It's going to be all outer towers falling. And there's zero that GIANTX can do.
No. Myrwn's still paying that respect, backing away from the tower. It won't quite fall. But Jun just caught out.
Yeah. He's so far forward. And again, these hooks just not working out for him whatsoever. Jojo coming through, the ultimate is perfect, and Noah already burned the flash in the last one. He's got nowhere to go, and it's just Alvaro who ends up picking him up for the team.
And things are only getting worse. A little bit of peel to make sure Isma can make it out to safety, but GX, a great weekend still for them overall, but will not be able to find the 3rd win against KOI. KOI determined to move further up the standings, separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Isma's on his own with loss. I was kind of keeping my eyes on where Alvaro was going to go, but no flash available means he's less of a threat and just jumping onto the front line of GIANTX. But still, Jojo off in the wings, ultimate up available soon. Won't be the skies descend, but still can do a lot of work. And I love how MKOI are playing this. It's just focus on the choke points. If you try and step through, it's into traps, it's into the ultimate from Jojo. You never get to touch the back line, and Alvaro gets so much value in controlling these chokes, so GIANTX have to walk the whole way around now.
Elder Dragon here. Alvaro with another beautiful engage. Elder down in the blink of an eye. GX are going to disappear. Oh, the objective's already gone. GX running for their lives. Supa taking names in Madrid.
A triple kill for the Spanish AD carry. Myrwn will finish off one as well. Alvaro gave his life, but it's Movistar KOI that will take the game off of his sacrifice.
It's their event. It's their home turf. Only room for one king in Madrid, and MKOI are that king. Spanish royalty on this incredible stage in front of this crowd. MKOI stand victorious.